I threw on the 315 on the front squat, and I did it 3 times, which I've never done before in my entire life. And it was a personal best, and nothing else changed. I just added in the supplement. My food stayed the same, my training stayed the same. It was just added this pre-workout, and it made me so much stronger, you have no idea.
Tastes great, dissolves quick, dissolves clean, it's non-stim, doesn't give you the jitters, the hair twitch, the burning face. I'm actually able to do more work. My working sets have gone up. I've been on it in 2 weeks now. I've probably increased my bench by at least 15 pounds easy.
The GIFD Labs Primousine for a week now probably. And man, this stuff is legit, man. My working weights were much easier. It hit all reps, sets. I even had to raise the weight.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Tonight we're going to talk about Hunter Labrada winning the Nationals. Now, I held off on a few days. Today's like, what, Wednesday? I held off about 4 or 5 days and wanted to see every picture that I could see, every video that I could see, because I fully am aware as being an NPC judge that what you're seeing online is not actually what you see there. Okay, it's completely different. No matter what picture, how clear, how crisp, whatever you think it is, when you're sitting at the judging table, it looks different than what you see online. Period. Videos does not fucking matter. 4K, 3D, I don't give a fuck. It's different when you sit at that table and what you see. Now, we always have our resident critique, Boston Lloyd, social media critic, Boston Lloyd, who likes to destroy everybody. And, you know, I think that one thing that he said, he was correct with when he said that if someone had showed up better than Hunter, that he would have lost. And I'm like, that just is logical. If someone shows up better than anyone, they lose. I mean, but anyways, so I looked at it and I do agree that Hunter was the best on the stage that day, deserved to win. Okay, that being said, I don't think he was in awesome shape. I don't think he was in his best shape. It's not like the best Hunter we're ever going to see. And I think that people forget. People have short memories. They don't fucking remember what they did this morning, let alone, because if you ask them what they ate this morning, a lot of times like, oh, they got to think about what they fucking ate this morning. So they forget that his father, Lee Labrada, who, you know, Hunter is a bigger version of Lee. He's about 3 or 4 inches taller. I think he weighs about 230 or 240, whereas I don't think Lee on stage ever went above 200 pounds. I think Sean Ray said he got up to 210 or 211 or something like that. But Lee never really broke 200 pounds, and he stayed around that area. Like, he never progressed past it. He just kept getting more and more dense as he got older and kept competing. Now, Hunter, I think, and again, I think people forget, and I think people even like, you know, like Boston Lloyd, who will say, well, guys in the 90s had better conditioning. Guys in, you know, the 90s looked better. You know, these guys nowadays, soggy glutes, he calls them, fucking diaper butt, whatever the fuck he calls them, which is kind of comical. But Lee Labrada won shows in the pros, in the era back when people conditioned, with the exact same conditioning Hunter won this fucking show with. Okay, it was the same fucking conditioning. Not everybody, you know, walks in every show super diced and stuff like that. Now, Lee was younger when he won those shows in that type of conditioning. Barry DeMay had conditioning similar to what Hunter had. These guys were winning shows. Even Gary Stridham was winning shows with conditioning in the pros, in IFBB pros, in the 80s and 90s, with conditioning that Hunter had at this show. That's my personal opinion. Now, the difference between Hunter now and Hunter 5 years from now is going to be the difference in Lee in 5 years when he was younger to when he was older. As Hunter gets older, he's going to get, as long as he doesn't play that size game, I don't feel like Hunter needs any more size. I think he's fine the way he is. I think if he puts on more size, he's going to look bunchy and kind of stocky and kind of bunched up. I think his physique right now flows really well. I don't think he should change a thing. I think he should just continue to train, and that density that comes with training over time, he's going to get more and more dense, more and more conditioning. He's going to learn his body more and more. As he goes along, he's going to get better at peaking for these shows, and I think we're going to see a bigger version of what we saw with Lee Labrada. It's a, you know, basically, I mean, honestly, when he was standing there, he hit his poses. He doesn't pose like his dad, right? But then again, his dad didn't pose like that when he was in his fucking early 20s either. As Lee got older and got better, so did, you know, so did his posing, along with his conditioning, his physique, and everything. So, you know, I think that people are really hard on some of these younger guys. And we saw guys like Dennis Newman back in the day who, you know, he was winning shows with conditioning like Hunter. And then as he got towards 26, I guess, 26, 27, somewhere around there, he started to get, or is that before he had leukemia? Before he got leukemia, he had been training, you know, obviously more years towards than he had when he was started winning. He was getting a denser physique. He was getting a better looking physique. Like all these guys. I mean, and even Boston himself can't say that the more time that he trains, the older he gets, that he looks better, right? So you got to give the kid time. You know, nowadays I think that guys are using steroids very early. I think that they're not really learning how to train. I think they're going in there and doing whatever. And I think they're showing up with lagging body parts and bad conditioning, poor conditioning, lack of conditioning, and it's going across the board now. So the worse the conditioning is, the people that are winning don't have to really be that tight. If everybody was tightening up more and more at these national shows, then the people that were not coming in tight would have no choice except to tighten up, or they wouldn't be able to be there. So I do think that, you know, across the board, people don't really come in conditioned anymore to begin with. I mean, every show that I judge, maybe of 1 or 2 guys that's really conditioned. You know, women's physique, maybe of 1 or 2 women in the whole show that are really conditioned. You know, we're seeing bikini competitors getting more conditioned than figure athletes now. And we're seeing physique athletes more conditioned than bodybuilders now. You know, I think conditioning as a whole, you know, when people are chasing size, the conditioning usually winds up suffering for some reason nowadays, and that's just how it is. Now, let's get back on the topic of Hunter. I think that, you know, I do feel personally that Hunter can be a good pro. I feel like if he's sitting around 230, he could make that cut to the 212 class. And even though he's a little bit tall, he's fucking big. His proportions make him look big with that little waist, the way everything flows. I think he could do really well in the 212 class if he wanted to drop down. I mean, he may, you know, he still had, I'd say, a good, honestly, my personal opinion, about 5 or 6 more pounds to lose at the Nationals this year, which would put him down to about, you know, 222 maybe, somewhere around there. You know, maybe 220 tops. Yeah, maybe 220 he would have been, you know, much tighter. So that's only putting him about 8 pounds away from that class, the 212 class, which I think he would, you know, do really well in. I think that if he stays in the open, he'll do well. Do I think he'll be a contender? Not unless he adds size. But if he adds size, he's going to ruin that physique. So now he's in the spot where his dad was, except now he has an option of being able to go to that 212 class and being able to compete successfully there, as opposed to trying to gain more mass and ruining his physique, which I really, really, really hope he doesn't go in that direction, because the aesthetic physiques like Sean Roden's, I do believe Phil Heath, you know, people make fun of Phil for having the distended abdomen, barring the injuries and stuff that he's had, the surgeries that he's had, has a very aesthetic physique. You know, we got guys like Dexter Jackson that's aesthetic. We have guys like Hunter that's aesthetic. We have guys that are coming in that's more aesthetic, and I think that's going to bring something back to the sport that's been missing for a long time. But I think people making fun of Hunter, I think they really do have short-term memories and don't remember that even when Jay Cutler won his pro card at the Nationals, he didn't have the conditioning he had 4 years later, or a year later, or 2 years later, or 3 years later, or whatever. Like, all of these guys have a certain conditioning when they turn pro, and they just keep getting better and better, and that's what we see along. And if this is the worst that Hunter's going to look, you know, on the stage in the next 5 years, I think that we're going to see something really awesome. I'm just super excited to see how he develops as an individual and a bodybuilder, and how reminiscent it is to his dad's day, and how he's going to handle, much like Sergio, living in the father's shadow. You know, living in the fact that the father had the physique that looked like his first. His father's got the supplement company. His father battled with greats. He's entering the pros now. I don't want to say being compared to that, but being kind of judged on where he comes from and who his father is, and people expect big things from him, which, you know, only time will tell whether or not he's going to be able to deal with that. But I think that the call at the Nationals was the right call by the judges. I think that he was the best one on stage. I think he was the most complete. He had the best conditioning and size and symmetry and shape, everything, the best combination of all of it. Of course, there were bigger guys, there were more conditioned guys, but overall, he had exactly what it takes to win that national show on that day. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next. So, BicycleTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.bicycling.com to log. It's a Hunter Labrada bicep. Hunter Labrada, yeah. I don't even want to fight any. We're out.